Good day. My name is Professor Anthony Revicchio, founder of the Financial Advisors Group, a money management firm, and CEO of Revicchio Online Tax Advisors. Welcome to our video cast, Tax Planning for Marriage. Grab a pen, very important subject, and I have some notes I'll be referring to as well. When we talk about marriage, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a major life event, right? And what happens with that major life event where we're talking about income taxes? We're talking about a tax change. We're talking about a tax change in a variety of ways, right? So we have to know three things that are very important. Again, grab a pen. I'm going to try to take a 1-hour lecture and turn this into a 10-minute lecture. So, if you need more information, I'll tell you where to go. But right now, stay right here, grab a pen. Number one, define who you are. What are you? Are you single? Are you married? Are you divorced? Are you separated? What are you? Well, what you have to do first is legally find out who you are. This is the law, ladies and gentlemen. What you are on December 31st of that tax year, the last day of the year, that's what you are. If you're single, you're single. If you're happily married, you're married filing jointly. If you're unhappily married, you might file married filing separate, unless, of course, you're legally bound. But note, again, December 31st of every tax year, what you are that day is what you are for the whole year. So that will bring us to lesson number 2. You have to determine your right filing status. So when we talk about marriage, ladies and gentlemen, it only comes down to 2 filing statuses. Married filing jointly, married filing separately. Which one are you? Well, let's talk about the advantages and disadvantages of each. Let's start with married filing jointly. When we talk about married filing jointly, right, we're putting everything together, husband, wife, and as you're putting everything together, the IRS allows you for what's called a higher standard deduction. So, of course, if I was single, I'll keep these numbers, just use them as an example. If I was single, I might get a $15,000 deduction, automatic standard deduction for myself. But if I'm married, then I get 2 times that amount, right? It's husband-wife. So now I jointly get a $30,000 tax deduction. That's, of course, one major advantage. A second major advantage, ladies and gentlemen, income tax credits, whether the credits have to do with capital gains, retirement, children, education. When you put your money together, what it actually does from a tax credit world is that filing jointly, it makes you more eligible for income tax credits. Income tax credits are a dollar-for-dollar deduction. And also, of course, when you file married filing jointly, because again, you're putting your money together, you will actually be in a lower tax bracket than when you were single. So that's all of the advantages for married filing jointly. But can you file married separately? Can you file and keep your income and assets and reporting separately? Again, that depends on number 1, right? What are you? What are the advantages of married filing separately? Well, of course, you're filing separately. You're keeping your assets and income separate. Why is that so important? Well, because some people believe that maybe their partner or former partner might have some prior IRS problems, maybe some IRS debt. And married filing separate allows you to separate yourself from those potential spouse problems, right? So those are the advantages of filing jointly and filing separately. What are the disadvantages? Well, if you're married filing separately, what's the disadvantage? If you're filing jointly, married filing jointly, if something goes wrong on one side of that fence, you're both responsible for any penalties, liabilities, reversals, inquiries, etc. with the IRS. So you might say, well, then I'll file separately. What are the disadvantages of filing separately? Well, it puts you in a higher tax bracket than you would be filing jointly or even single. You also lose any eligibility of higher tax credits. You also lose the eligibility of a higher tax standard tax deduction. So what do? Tip, ladies and gentlemen. I do on occasion look at those situations and say to my client, you know what? Why don't I run both, right? Let's run both scenarios. Let's see which one is best suited for both of you. And I would suggest, ladies and gentlemen, if you have a tax advisor or tax preparer, you want to present that question to them. Because during this turbulent time, right, married jointly, filing separately, we have all types of emotional problems, financial problems. Those are separate than tax problems. So tip, you want to go to your tax preparer or tax advisor and ask them, can you run them separately for me so I can analyze the situation and come up with the best conclusion for me? Right? That's what you want to consider. And that's going to bring us to the third lesson. Adjusting your W-4. Well, let's go back to those first two examples, right? What are you? Are you married? Are you separate? Are you jointly? Are you single? And then, of course, once you make that determination, which way do I file? File jointly, married filing jointly, married filing separately. Forgive me, I need coffee. Well, one or both of you are going to have to adjust your W-4. One of you will get more money. One of you will get less money if you file separately. If you file jointly, both of you might get more money. Let me tell you another tip, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, making that decision, filing jointly and filing separate, is on a case-by-case, year-by-year basis. But I do find in most cases, 75 to 80% of the time, from a tax standpoint only, ladies and gentlemen, it's actually better to file jointly. Because what you're giving up in return is going to be more of a burden than any possible advantage that you can have filing jointly or separate. But again, you want to discuss those situations with an income tax professional. If you'd like to discuss them with me, feel free to give me a call. 347-575-5045. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope this video cast helped a little bit. And if it didn't, feel free to give me a call if you need any additional information or explanation. Be tax smart, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy your day.